So, are you ready for our next speaker? I see she's already backstage and I'm putting her on the main stage. Hi, Diana. Hi, and
Hello.
welcome.
Thank
Diana
you.
Lee Caplinger is a pioneering executive with over 20 years of proven success in innovation and transformation. She currently leads customer relationship manager, intelligent automation, smart workflow, and personalization teams at Truist. In her position, she sets the strategic vision, accelerates the value creation, and optimizing operations for the enterprise. She was recognized by Adobe as a 2021 Executive Experience Maker of the Year finalist and won the Women in Technology 2018 Woman of the Year for the Large Enterprise category. Super excited to welcome an award-winning leader on our conference, you, Diana. Thank you so much for joining us. You are an inspiration for so many women who've been nominated and been finalists and will make it to the winners. So we will know soon who are they.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you well. We can see you well. All good.
All right, perfect.
You don't have any slides, right? So I'm leaving
Correct.
the stage to you, and please enjoy.
Thank you. Yes, I thought I would mix it up today. And instead of going through slides and sharing images, I thought I would just come and speak to the audience today. So a couple of things about me. Thank you, Anna, for sharing my bio and my background. I have been very blessed to have an incredible career, not without challenges and obstacles along the way, but still a very incredible career. I am a married mother of a 12-year-old daughter. So encouraging and helping women grow in technology leadership positions is very near and dear to my heart because I have someone literally on my heels coming up behind me. I am personally, I love to travel, learn, and I love solving problems. So it's in my personal life and professional life. So a couple of things about me as we think about today, the topic being drive your career. What I would like to do is share some personal stories, insight, and some actions you can take to drive your career. Thus far, you have seen and heard from a number of incredible women, phenomenal women who have shared their stories and how they've gotten to their positions and shared insights on how to help you just go about your day. I would like to kind of add on to the list of insight that's been provided and hopefully just fill in some gaps where you may be needing some additional help or may just have some experiences that's germane to you personally. So with that said, a couple of things I just want to start with. For me, I'm actually, you can't tell because I'm sitting down, I'm 6 feet tall. So not only have I been in a number of situations being the only person of color, the only female, most of my career has been in technology roles as I've moved up the ladder. So, in my younger undergraduate days, I was kind of seen as different because I was interested in computers. I actually, in one role in college, in undergrad, was the only female working in hardware sales to sell computers. And as you go about life being the only or the double only, it does wear on you a bit. And so hopefully I can help provide and share some of the lessons that I've learned along the way to keep me in technology and keep me growing in my career. Some of the data from McKinsey Women in the Workplace 2021 report shared that even though some strides are being made, we being women are still being promoted at much lower levels than men. For every 100 men that are promoted, only 86 women are promoted, and that number significantly decreases for women of color. So what do we do about it? How do we navigate these waters? How do we continue to insert change, be change agents, be change leaders, and impact the industry? There are a couple of ways we can go about doing so. First and foremost, really own your space. A number of times I talk to my mentees and other parties, and they're like, Diana, I don't see a role that really fits. I want to get a promotion. I want to move up, but here's the roles that are available. And my first advice to you is create your own space. Just because you don't see a box that's the box you're interested in or the box that's the most best fit or the box that's available in your organization doesn't mean that's all that's available. And what I mean by saying create your own space is one of my biggest career leaps was into a role that I created. It did not exist in the organization. The organization had over 20,000 employees. And I took the time out of my personal life to read white papers, industry papers, consulting insight to say, here's a trend that's evolving and that's happening. And my organization did not have a team or department that worked in that space. So I took, my daughter's spring break, read everything I could, created a business case and pitched it to my former CIO and CTO and CMO. And they were like, you know what, this makes sense. We're all for it. So I actually created a role for me in the organization and created a team and department from scratch. That did not come without its own challenges, because I was also told to self-fund. But at the end of the day, I was ready. I was ready and I was prepared and I did the work. So when I say create your space, don't think that you just are limited to what's immediately before you. You can go back, you can go out and say, hey, here's how I like to spend my time. Here are the skills and talents and the experience that I bring to the table. Here's how I can apply this to solve the problems, whether industry, market, regulatory, business problems that your organization's facing, to go about and create your space and go solve it go solve it for the company on your terms. Don't think that's not available to you, because it'll be a surprise. Another obstacle that I personally faced was imposter syndrome. I believe there are a couple of leaders today talking about imposter syndrome. And what I've noticed, every time I have moved up, it actually got worse. I think my success became more tangible. So it just had a greater impact. And for whatever reason, I allowed it to take a mental real estate and play mental gymnastics. And it's very hard to turn down that nozzle and turn down that noise and distraction. So how do you do that? So a couple of things you need to do is really identify and think about your self-limiting behaviors and your self-limiting thoughts. Once you identify those, and I'm not just saying spend 5 minutes and think about, oh, okay, here's the negative thoughts I have about myself. No, take the time, get an executive coach, put it on paper. Put it on paper and make an action plan that you can work against, so that you can track it, you can measure it, and you can say what you are actually going to do about it to turn down that noise. Because more often than not, those self-limiting beliefs are just stories we tell ourselves that we told ourselves from our childhood that are still resonating today. That means a child created them. That means they're not real. Or if they are real, there's still something you can do about it. Get the executive coach, read the book, do the work, do the introspection to work on yourself. And also, more importantly, believe in yourself and have the confidence you need. I know, again, that's not as easy as I'm making it seem. It took me years to get to a point where I have identified them and I recognize them now in the moment, which is very important, because I don't allow those thoughts to get me off track, and I stay focused and I stay on my path. So, and one of the things that also I have to tell myself, and sometimes it's daily, sometimes it's monthly, is to give myself grace. Don't be so overly self-critical. Give yourself grace and understand that every moment's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect, even if you're striving for perfection. One of the ways that I do that is I remind myself of my personal passion. My personal passion is to help connect people to live their best lives and to solve tangible problems. So if I stay close and connected to my personal passion, then that will keep me on track. That will also remind me what I'm doing, me speaking up in a meeting, me asserting myself or asserting an idea for it in the organization. Then I am staying on task with where I need to show up and how I need to show up. So again, just a couple of nuggets there that I hope are helpful. Another way that you can overcome imposter syndrome is to think big. Do not let your job be more important than your career. So let me say that again. Do not let your job get in the way of your career. Think big. So where you're at today does not mean that's where you're going to be next quarter, next year, in the next 5 years. So if you remind yourself that where you're at today may be your job and your career is bigger, and you have a broader path that you want to take for yourself and how you are defining success for yourself, that will help you stay focused, and that'll help you turn down any self-limiting behaviors and thoughts that you have and any imposter syndrome you may experience. And I do want to call out, success means a couple of things. Success is however you define it for yourself. And I know as women, we think about success as holistically, or life holistically. Typically, men think about success from a career standpoint. For myself personally, I think about success as my job as a mother, my role as a wife, my job and my career that I'm in. So I have to create that balance, and that balance ebbs and flows and shifts day to day for how success looks for me and how I want to show up in the world and what I want to give back to the world. So with all of that, we think about ourselves in different experiences that we have as women in technology, women in leadership positions. I am an executive vice president currently for a bank of over 50,000 people. Not an easy task to get here. And I do want to share a couple of stories from past roles at past organizations that I worked for that have helped mold me to the person I am today. I've actually also reached out to other women executive leaders in technology positions to hear some of those stories. And I want to share a couple of those with you. And hopefully they can shine some light into some of the microaggressions or some of the experiences you may be facing in your world. And one of those I want to start with is an executive who's at the top realm in her career. She's C-suite. And at the C-suite level, she's one only executive amongst men, so only female. Her leader is a man, her peers are men. And still, she just as recently as a couple of weeks ago had her male executive leader ask her to schedule the team meeting, team lunch, and take notes. And she had to quickly remind him that he is an administrative assistant, an executive assistant. It is not her, nor is that her role as an executive leader in the organization. So I share that because, not to be daunting or to deter you, but to say it doesn't necessarily go away. But she had the confidence and believed in herself, and she's already did the work to call out that unconscious bias that her leader had. And in calling out that unconscious bias in a one-on-one setting, her leader now has since changed. He did not realize some of the unconscious bias that he was applying to her as the only female leader on her team. So now he is thinking twice, and they're cultivating a deeper relationship where he is not asking her to do things that women have historically done. He is now recognizing some of the incorrect, inappropriate behavior that he was asserting towards her. For myself personally, I've had experiences at past employers where not only I was the only, or I should say it was a limited number of females out of a team of consultants, I was the only female of childbearing age. So there were, I would say, less than a handful of female consultants. And when I did decide to have a child and return to the office, not only was I asked to get on a plane and start flying immediately upon returning, even though I was 100% still breastfeeding, I had nowhere to pump. So I had to get creative, and the organization did not help me with wellness and where to pump. And I had to, honestly take an old office, prop up a marketing banner in front of the glass door and pump in an office. That's isolating. That is very isolating for a number of reasons. And I had to really focus and hone in on where I wanted to go, and also tap into allies to help me through those moments in life. I too have been asked to take notes as the only female in the room. I too have been told to shut up in meetings because someone wasn't talking to me, even though the question at hand was my project and my budget. So what did I do? I did a number of things, and I did those things before I got to those situations. And one of the number one things that have helped me in my career were allies. I went about creating and cultivating relationships. I believe Jessica earlier talked about relationships. I cultivated relationships where I had a number of advocates, I had a corporate sponsor, and I had allies. And quite honestly, I had a number of male allies, so that when those situations arose, I had a number of people that I could go to not only mentor me, but to also shine lights on the incorrect situations that were at hand. And allies are very, very important for your career as you move up, particularly in this world where we have performance calibrations and performance sessions where you need someone other than just your direct manager advocating on your behalf You need those other advocates and those other allies speaking good words about you and your performance and your volunteerism and all the things that you bring to the table to be allies and to help and really just be an advocate on your behalf. You would be amazed how advocates and allies can help propel you in your career. And that's not always easy said and done if you're particularly in a male-dominated industry. So one of the things that I did is I not only worked internally in organizations to look for allies and advocates, I also did it externally. I spent the time to brand myself externally via LinkedIn and via partner organizations. So in one situation, I had a manager, we just did not get along. He didn't value me even though I was doing the work, even though I had great 360 feedback from peers and other leaders and executives. He just didn't want to invest in me the way he was investing in my male peers. So with me having a strong external presence, he got to a point where leaders started asking him why I wasn't on the higher profile roles because of what I was doing externally and what they were seeing via LinkedIn. So I allowed and started tooting my horn via nonverbal ways to then bring awareness for me and the skills and experiences that I was bringing to the table, and also for my potential. And with those types of activities and steps, it led him to a place where he had to recognize and had to start putting me on those projects that I wanted to be on. So I had higher visibility and continued forward momentum in the organization. So a couple of other nuggets that I would like to share with you. As you go about your career, one thing as women that we don't do enough is we don't expect to win. As you drive your career forward, expect to win. You are more than enough. Continue investing in yourself. Continue looking at the bigger picture. Continue thinking about your career. Time and time again, I've created a career vision board. So not only a vision board for my personal life, but a career vision board and what I would like my day to look like between 8 and 6, and what type of roles and positions and what type of work I want it to do, how I want it to give back. And helping me do so helped me be very concise and clear on my path. But as part of that, I had to expect to win. And that was a mind shift for me because I had so much self-doubt and imposter syndrome. So I say to each of you, you are more than enough. Expect to win. You've been moving mountains already to get to this point to where you are. Continue moving those mountains. Continue leaning forward and continue being the best that you are. You will grow, but for you to do so, be confident and expect to win. I cannot say that enough. There are a couple of books out there that you can read. One is Expect to Win by Carla Harris. Another is How Women Rise by Marshall Goldsmith and Sally. And I just forgot Sally's last name, but there are a number of books out there that can help you. Another one is Getting to Yes. If you need to negotiate your salary or you believe you're underpaid compared to your male peers, read Getting to Yes so you know how to better negotiate. And as Jessica and other leaders mentioned, you have to do that. That's a continual activity. You don't just do it once and done. You need to do it continually. You need to remind your leader where you want to go and the path that you have set yourself on, and how him or her can help contribute to that path in your continued success. So with that, I believe we only have a minute or so left. So I do want to just thank you, and hopefully those are helpful nuggets. If you're interested in a career at Truist, who has been an amazing employer for me, please reach out to me via LinkedIn, Diana Caplinger. We can connect directly, and I also can connect you with different talent acquisition leaders at the banks. We have a number of roles that we're looking to fill, and we're looking for amazing female leaders to help continue to grow the organization. So thank you. And hello, Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Diana. We have people thanking for your talk. Really interesting, great points, great topic, very inspiring. Thank you for it. There were a couple of questions, and let's take one real quick since we have 1 minute left. Hi, Diana. What advice would you give to someone who works in IT where they're the only one represented from their community?
Yes, build allies externally as well. So whether it's a user group that meets up on Saturdays, whether it's your alumni association, see if they have a local chapter, and then also talk to other parties. You don't always have to just focus on IT leaders. I've connected with leaders in risk, or in cyber, or even in operations, to help become allies and advocates and advocate on my behalf in the IT organization. So who are the partners at your organization that you can count on or talk to about your experiences? And then definitely work with women's groups, groups that Anna has started that are wonderful. WITI, Women in Technology International, Women in Technology. There are a number of groups that have a wealth of women that will help you and help advocate with you and help you with your continued momentum.
Thank you so much. Thank you. More people are thanking you in the chat, Diana. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing your experience and great tips. Stay with us, one-on-one networking. As Diana said, connect with her on LinkedIn to ask your questions. I see more questions in the chat, by the way. So people were really excited and have many questions for you. Thank you so much, and stay with us for the rest of the conference.
Will do. Thank you, Anna.
Bye-bye.